So the great chariot, a commentary on relaxing in the nature of mind of the great profession. If they're going to listen to teaching, and this teaching has the 13 chapters, so we are on the 8th chapter, and the 8th chapter has three subjects, and then today is the main subject, and then main subject has 10 different lists, so we are on the 10th, and then 10th heading, they're talking about 6 parameters, and there was S2, and the brief of the teachings, and then the main topic of the 6 parameters. And then main topics also, they're talking about the meaning of the 6 parameter and individuals ones. And then now we are on the individual ones. Then individual one has 6 subjects. So we are on the now today the 5th one. So now we are on the 5th of the 6 parameters. So meditation, the 5th is meditation. And here also has like 10 different lists of the meditation part. The first one, they're talking about course establishing meditation. So it means that in order to practice of the meditation or samadhi, there should also some course. So the course is so whoever has the wish to cultivate meditation and should abandon all preoccupation with distractions. The objects of pleasure are like clouds within an autumn sky, and ephemeral in their nature, are no more stable than lighting. Enjoyments, and though no more than illusory places, they are untrustworthy, and we should abandon them. Instead, we should quickly rely on the piece of leafy forest. So something lopi namin damsum pong yerjigante tenki tandonda lower mate yobi rongyante longyo mata yemi konzonda namyon yete maron te ponte. Those who ever actually wish to practice of the meditation or samadhi, then we need to be abandoned after this distracted, which is the very important. So distracted has two, the body distracted and the mind distracted. So the body distracted means that if you are in the city with with the relatives, friends, and so on and so forth, our physically is busy and no such really time. So we are always, there is always visitors, and we also need visit and so on and so forth. So that our body has no time to be, sit on the cushion front of the temple or shine and etc. If it is too dark, maybe you can, why today all this blacking? So, special day today, Thursday. So therefore, we have no time. So that's the reason they're talking about going to the forest, forest, to stay in the forest. So when someone go to the solitary, and actually when they talk about Buddhist forest, it means solitary, solitary. And in the Tantric says the good place, which is, there's no much obstacles, even the solitary without any kind of dangerous place, like no problem of the lions, bears, tigers, snakes, elephants, as well as you have all circumstances like woods, waters, and etc. So those are that we call solitary or forest. So once we go there, then we already much calm down, because there's less visitings, and also that there's no such you need to visit. So therefore, your body become really already like very much calm down. And then still, of course, mind can be very distracted, because your mind is still to thinking that your home, friends, etc. But then slowly, one by one, day by day, and your mind also become more calm. So the object, if you see only one object all the time, then there's not much like distracted, and also there's no object, then it great helps. So beginner practitioners, us we always very much rely on the object. So it's very good to go a little far from the various kind of objects. So that can be is cool or calm down already. So therefore, then start your mind also become not distracted. It means like in the remote, your body is also in the remote place, and your mind is also become very peace or remote. So that is the importance. So therefore, we need to abandon of all these two kind of the distracted. So normally, why we cannot abandon these two things? So we are very much enjoyed of the 5 enjoyments, for example, as well as your friends, families, and so on and so forth. So therefore, here says, the object of the pleasure, such like a form and what is called this test, etc., these 5 enjoyments, as well as like our relatives, friend, and etc., other like cloud within awesome sky. The awesome sky floor, there's clouds are much more faster moving. So therefore, maybe morning white, evening black, and morning there, evening gone, evening this, no, but next morning come and like etc. So this moving very fast, because autumn wind is actually kind of also called stronger. So therefore, the cloud moving very fast. So exactly same, all the object of the enjoyments are moving all the time, changing all the time. So therefore, why we should really distract it, our precious human life, precious mind into the 5 objects. So as long as the 5 objects, if we think those are something more important, then we cannot be abandoned of the distracted mind. So therefore, now in order to abandon of the distracted mind, then we should know the object of the enjoyments. Here says also, I think this ephemeral in the nature. What is ephemeral? Changing all the time and no more stable. Here says like lighting. So lightings are changing very fast, very, very fast. Only even one moment and like that. So every phenomenon, if you really look at into, it's like lighting. But there, continuation of the lighting is there, so people are deluded that they are remaining for all the time. So therefore, more stable than, not more stable than lightings. As well as also they talk about enjoyments and no more than illusory pleasures. So any of the wealth is such that just impermanent of the like magic house or illusory house, illusory place. So therefore, they are untrustworthy because all wealthies you can be today totally, you will be nothing. And may you can be also tomorrow you are very rich. Even we think of the objects, I think these days like you have such kind of also make money, like this, what is called stockman or something that you can make one day very rich and one day you are became like nothing. So this kind of that object of the wealthy is also not stable, not stable. In Tibetan we say if you have 100 horse, 100 yaks, you are very rich, you are one of the great family. But those yaks, 1 year, if you get heavy snow, then 100 yaks just gone, just 1 month, every yak will die. So therefore, enjoyment of the object is actually illusory, means that nothing stable, nothing rely on. So therefore, why we should use our precious human life? Why we are, distracted into that? That was they are talking. So here says they are untrustworthy, and we should abandon them because there's no really such trustworthy. Every of the objects, like your friends, families, wealth, neighbors, whatever you are distracted as not really trustworthy, if you think of the really reality. So one of the masters says that many people, money, they are best friends, but then evening they have become great enemies. So the changing of the friend to the enemy is, they don't need to take so long time. So therefore, there's no really trustworthy. So if there's no something such like, be always that something helpful, there's not such things. So instead, we should quickly rely on the peace of leaf forest. I don't know leaf forest, but maybe forest like where they have a lot of leaves or something like that. So where they have a lot of leaves, where they have a lot of fruits, where they have a lot of flowers, and those kind of places that really, even, those green things, good for your health, good for your eyes, and good for your also mind. As I mentioned, if someone living such like that kind of place for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then you will be more starting joy of that, You will see the quality of that. Because now we never done any of that kind of place, go to stay. So we don't see the quality of the forest or quality of the remote place. So it's very important to have really experience how really wonderful. If you stay more than 100 days, then maybe you will start to see the quality of the remote place, quality of the forest, That means how much benefit your physical as well as also mentally, and mind become more pure, and then your wisdom become more sharp, and that way we can really see what is really talking about impermanent, suffering of samsara, changingness of the life, and so on and so forth, as well as also they're talking about illusory, non-essence, and etc. These things we need to have, we need to give our time. You should give space for the mind to think of those objects, which is very important. So therefore, that was the topic. And then here, the commentary by Longchen Ranjam, Duji Tamje Matapa, Yoga Tamje Yoga, all comforted things are impermanent. Whatever, comes through the cause and conditions, we call compounded, the compounded. So whatever compounded is the surely impermanent, whatever impermanent is actually compounded. So it means that whatever existing from the object of our five faculties is surely impermanent, so therefore they are also compounded, or you can say impermanent because of they are compounded. That is also good logic. So therefore, whatever compounded are, these are impermanent, and then wealth is fickle, I think fickle or fickle. Wealth is fickle. So therefore, normally we think that wealth is important. Do give some pleasures, comfortable for sure, but if you are too much into the wealth, only thinking of the wealth, I think, many businessmen, they have nothing to think, anything else than how to make money and how to make sale and so on and so forth. I think we in the West, we have good system that we have company and so on and so forth. So it's like really you have to have things there and then try to sell. There's not much things. But Tibetan people, where they make wealthy, is very horrible. They have to do a lot of processing. You have to lying, you have to cheating, you have to do many things because there's nowhere to really to make business. They say, I pay this yak, it's 1,000, even you pay 500. And then you have to swear, like in Tibetan, if you swear, it's big things. And they swear to the Buddhas, Dharmas, those are big unvirtue actions, but they don't care. Those who are really very much into just only make the money. And that way your mind becomes distorted. There's no virtue thoughts any left, virtue thoughts are just covered by the, like thinking of the business and so on and so forth. But this wealth is, you cannot keep, The wealth, nature of wealthy is like they're talking about fickle, I don't know, but it here says yoga, it's moving, changing, yoga tamji, yoga. And then also our life, I think entire life that we are collection of the money and so on and so forth. Maybe in the 80% people failure, you cannot really keep or save or make money. Maybe 20 people can make money, okay? 20% maybe can make money. But then impermanent, when you are become having something that your life also almost, dead, or almost you are like, you cannot much use. So therefore, I think in the Pado teachings, they give example. The bees, bees, what's called bees? Bees, make honeys. And they go to far away to get the honey and using so many, far away and try to find honey. And once they found honeys, and then they are on the way, okay? They're on the way to find where they food, where they keep. And as soon as they find, then there is always someone came, and then that means that you need to die, Whenever you put there and this person came and they will take it. or many of honeys, many of bees are also dying into the honey. So therefore, all wealthy is something like that. Entire life we are trying to find something, but as soon as find that, then you have not any more kind of use or power to use it. So therefore, life is impermanent. So because of those comfort, comfort, fake, impermanent, so that is the reason there's no essence. So since all this is inevitably essenceless, inevitably essenceless. Inevitably is what? Himbo meba imbis. Keeper hearing us nilas. Okay, so therefore we should try to meditate alone in peaceful forest. So at least that you have not much worry in from your mind, and physically it's more calm. Even though there's no such like realization, but still more peaceful. So the personal liberation, so tharba is the sutta. I think the sutta of the personal liberation or individual liberation, or Patimokkha Sutta. And they're talking about how important of the forest. So it says, those who have here much abide in the last leaf forest. Lonso Yorwa Namjit Nipa Des. I think then there was some missing. So its next one is what? One sentence is missing. Sorry? There they stay as their lives slip away in happiness. Right. Okay. There they stay as their life slip away in happiness. What is that slip away happiness? Waste or rest? Rest, okay. So anyway, our life anyway is rest, or it will be, like going end, right? Like, I don't know, rest or useful or whatever. So anyway, it will be, stay for your continuously in the rest of your life, or you just kind of a little puan way, that means Lonso Yoba Namjit Nipa Des. Okay, I don't know how to say. And then next is also says talk about solitary and tam. This is also one of the Buddha's teaching, I think. This very poetry. In the canopied cloud of enjoyment display like flash of lighting, and destroyed by the wind of this life, like lotus floating on water, quickly seeing the deception of youth in buried beings, the wise will therefore establish in samadhi and meditation. They will quickly turn the practice of the ultimate yogas. long shu zhengji lari nong na roi look da yo what is. So they says the wealthy is like lighting in the, this first one is displaying like flashing of lighting. And the thing is flashing is more like what? Okay. Canopied cloud of enjoyment. Canopied then enjoyment is basically like this, you know. The lighting, the moving in the clouds, right? So similarity, the wealth is moving like light. They basically saying like that, but they put too much, you know, light where they're moving in the clouds and etc. So this kind of poem. So it means just the meaning is wealthy is like light, okay? But then they're using the cloud displaying like flash of lighting. You know, the flash of lighting is displayed in the clouds, okay? Similarly of your wealth is like that. And then they says the dews, I think you talk about dews, like the drop of water. Drop of water on the Padmas, you know, Padmas, the lotus has the dew of the water. So that dew of water is easy to fall down when they have little wings, it falling down. So similarly of our life that like water on the Padmas. So it easily kind of cut by the winds. And that was that. And then and these are the really we cannot trust, you know, because they are easy to gone, you know, like light, like water dew, cover dew on the Padma. So the life is like that. So the great ones, and they see the body is like that, you know, quickly seeing the deception, I don't know what is deception. What is deception? Anyway, now next one, you know, the wise ones, they see like that, you know, they see like that. So therefore, they are immediately go to the meditation or samadhi, and that is how they do. You know, the wise ones, they see everything like that. Wealthy is like lighting, life is dew of the water, or dew of on the Padma. So the obscures, you know, like the winds of the, you know, our impermanence, it will easily die, kind of take it. So therefore, they go to in samadhi, meditation on samadhi quickly. And then that is they're talking about the course establishing meditation. So have to see the obscures, see the wrong actions, and knowing of the good and benefits of the meditation. So those are the cores. Then they're talking about the opposite of aspect. Sometimes they say escort, you know, this escort or something, the opposite is the opposite aspect. Sondong, sondong, serve dungashi, kingdom sedong, yongbi senampel, nendo teji, dendo langobi, ndoba chondong, choshi dembra shas. Now the opposite, you know, we thought the meditation, then what problems they are talking. The presence of desire will only produce distractions. So why we cannot go to the meditation or forest, and because of we have desire to collection things, you know, like we have desire on the wealth, on the all kind of fame and power and etc. So therefore, now they're talking about the opposite of the peace, opposite of the peace. So persons of the desire will only produce of distortions, and seeking, collecting, and guiding their object is suffering. And then arrogance means, okay, and in order to find of the wealth or your desire, then we need to really, I think this seeking is what in okay, looking after. That is something correct, I think. And then collecting and need to guidings. For example, example of the in Tibet, first you have to find horse and yaks and etc. And you have to look where you are find. And secondly, then if you found, then we need to keep this, more yaks. And the words of my prophet teacher says, if you have one sheep, your suffering size is one sheep. And if you have one yaks and your suffering size is like a yaks and horse and etc. So therefore, then you have to protect or after look that, you need to protect. So because of that, all life is really giving sufferings, sufferings from the wealthy. It's supposed to, we're supposed to give, the wealthy gives some kind of pleasures, but it became different. So many of them even they cannot find. Even you look to find entire life, but maybe you don't find even one sheep or one yak and like that. In case if you can if you can keep, then what will problem is that your arrogance arising. That I am rich, I have everything and so on and so forth. And next is then you are really craving. If you don't have anything, maybe you don't have craving. If you have 10 euro, you don't care. You can use that, everywhere. But if you have 10 million, then you are really looking how I can make more and how I can keep this and etc. So therefore, craving. I think craving is something like more like you are really thinking. And then greed will increase. So arrogant, craving, greed will be increased. So therefore, what is that? Stinginess, I don't know. Or stinginess will increase. So therefore, the Bodhisattva says we have to find the essence of the wealth. So wealth can be also very great to be cause of the accumulated merit if we really find the essence of the wealth. But if wealth become like we are become slave of the wealth, then it's problem. Wealth should supposed to help us, more comfortable, more good circumstances. But it can be also other way around. You just look only wealthy, what is called wealthy or the object enjoyments. Then you have become slave of the wealth. So that is not good. So therefore, here says we are led to the lower realm and keep from the higher ones. Because entire life you just looking, collecting guidance. Therefore, arrogant, craving, greed increased, and also stinginess, and those are the main cause and condition of the being the lower realms. So therefore, we are laid all the realm they kept from the higher ones. Therefore, be content. The contentment is the most important of the one of the practice. So there, let desire be fused. So then here again the commentary, Jawal Onjempa, that the hero Yoji Nubo Tajon, Sowadon, Sonwadon, Sewadon, Yemadevadon, Sebadon, Kingwadon, Yojula, so be Mageva Taman Jondes. External, what is this? Emanatis? What is emanatis?
Amenities are like comforts
or comforts. Okay, wealth and comforts are the source of much unhappiness. Uh, for example, of the seeking, you need to do a lot of things. Guiding, so what? You have to do a lot of jobs, and also unhappy mind. I think that is in Tibet what here says seva. Seva is more like harms, because even if you do have wealth, there is always also like thieves and many others are looking for you. In the Vinaya teaching says that the amount of the birth, and one birth, he or she, if found one like, moth or something, moth, the birds who are eating meat, like the one birth he can find like moth or something for eatable, then all other birds are follow this bird. You can see, you can really, I don't know here we have bird or not, but maybe, but birds like that. If one finds something to eatable, then all birds are surrounding him and follow him, try to catch him. So similarity, if you are have wealthy, it can be more harms around you. And here translate as unhappy mind. So Tibet word is seva. Seva is not necessarily unhappy, directly translation. Of course unhappy, because many people surround you and try to get from you something is unhappy, but directly word is more harms. And therefore, okay, sorry. Maybe this undergetting. What's undergetting? Endangering. Yes, endangering. That was my topic from Tibetan. Then because of that, then unhappy minds are there. And then also craving, aggress, and then what is hypocrisy? Hypocrisy is, what is hypocrisy? Hypocrisy is more like, I think they're talking about here, like cheating to others or something. It is hypocrisy? Yes, it means that cheating, there's many things will happen. So therefore, so many negativities will be appear. So he says, since they make a fall into the lower realms, they should be abandoned. Why it will be lower realms? Because all of those are the negative thinking or negative emotions. These are the source of the negative emotions. So therefore, we should be abandoned of the objects. So Nagarjuna says, I think this is like his letter for friend or friendly letter. By the suffering of seeking collection and guidance, wealth should be known to be limitless destroyer. Therefore, be content and let desire be few. And then there's another thing. Okay, again, there is continuation of that teaching. I think friendly letter says again, knowing lower to be content and all wealth. No, choshila. It's missing. No, nam kunja no choshiglas. No, nam kunja no choshila. No, nam kunja no choshila. Okay, knowing how to be content and all wealth, and is said to be the best teaching of the God and the humans. Okay, I have to. And what mean that is said to be the best teaching of God and human beings. Who is that? best teaching of the God and human beings. What is that? Sorry? Best teaching for God and humans. I think this is not teaching, this is more teacher, okay? Best teacher says. Hlamitemba means the Buddha, we say the teacher of the God and teacher of the God and humans, because they are directly listening, teaching from the Buddhas. So here says Hlamitemba, this said by the like teacher of the God and humans. That was in Tibetan word. So in English it says, it says the said to be the best teaching of God and human. I think this not teaching, it is said by best teacher of the human and gods. That was correct one. Okay. Songs. Kun the Choshin Dojin Chena, Norman Dojin, Yondan Juralas. And that says, every possessing no wealth, they will be truly wealthy. Even possessing no wealth. Okay? Norman Dojins. I think still something missing looks like, but not missing, right? Knowing of the contentment, okay. Maybe. So, no wealthy, but they will be truly wealthy. Wealthy of the virtues, wealthy of the happy, wealthy of the peace, and etc. Then, things as a cause of sufferings. So all wealth is the just cause of the suffering. Things means wealth or wealthy can be cause of the sufferings. Of course, if we can use well, if you know how to use, can be, as I told you, it's good. But in order to find the wealthy, if we use entire our life for that, that is really sad. I think among our people, we work so hard, but then entire life we try to do something, but there's nothing really left there, It's always kind of empty balance, empty house. So then we have become a little bit like really these little animals, they also find their food and clothes and where they're sleeping and etc. So therefore, if really we find something, then we should find something good source. Otherwise, we try to be practice. But of course, then here is where the country or the region is also a little difficult for genuine practitioners, big different than like some kind of Asia places. So anyway, he says, with many things, there are also many sufferings. For example, luma chinye dunga chapata, no more chinye dunga terichas. The more the body is one's, the more it is feel of pain. But the more rich we have, the pain grows even worse. Those who cut down on possessions have limitless happiness. Not 100% sure, right? But cut off is what mean that. Yes, I think cut down. Cut down means even you have solution to find, but you are cut down, then even you don't have, it's different feeling than in mentally, physically you really wish to have, but then naturally cut down is big different, Some people, we cannot find anything. The beggars who are begging on somewhere,
they have no any skills. They naturally they cut down. So they may be mentally very painful. But someone who really seeing of the meaningless of the objects and they cut down is big different than who are seeing the meaning but they cannot find anything. They are looks like same but inside is big different. Understand? They will be less. Okay, why is the limitless happiness? Because there will be less danger of the being persecuted, and there will be no fear of thieves and enemies. So when you are rich, when you have more and more things, and then there's more thieves, thieves, they always knew where they are, their things. So therefore, if there's nothing inside, then no thieves and no enemies. When you become rich, and there's always the competitions and enemies will appear and so on and so forth. And then if we live very simple, I think everybody praised by all, they say, praised by all. Maybe Bodhisattvas, they praise. Maybe your parents will be not praised, but it's no problem. Praised by all. And they stay up on the noble path. So if someone has contentment, live simple, so your path is noble path. But of course we have to have confidence that this is the right decision. That you can find through the learning the books, listening the teachings, reflection on the teachings and etc. And then what is called dirty will be few and mental karma less. Or duties will be few. So less things, we are less free. So Buddha says his followers should be duties free, duty few, action few, meaning few. That kind of, they talk about Buddha's followers. It has to be like that. So therefore, duties will be few and then mental karma less. Same li chungwa. I think with mental actions, if there's not much things to do, then your mental general, it come down. So if we have too much money, too much things, then we have to think how I will make more, where I need to go. Then we have a lot of happening here, lot of happening in your head. So therefore, he says, let us all stand in having few desires. Then we go to the Longchen Ranjampa's teaching. Here says, actually, if our desire we few, then we are praised by all. I think it's really true. If someone has not much desire, if you go with someone, he will be happy, he or she, whatever. If we have too much desire, try to get something from here and there, so on and so forth, no one will become with you because it makes really little bit difficult, So therefore, we are praised by all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, human beings, God beings, etc. If we have no wealth, we do not have to guard it from enemies and thieves. Okay, and then it says we can practice samadhi with little hypocrisy and so forth. Okay, with few actions and body mind of the at ease, we can practice samadhi with little hypocrisy and so forth. So there's naturally, if you have too much movement, actions, then we do not really necessarily need it of the hypocrisy and etc. But with many good qualities, also there's many good qualities. when there are less hypocrisy and less enemies, thieves, and wealth, and etc. So your mind become more tangible, and therefore there will be more qualities arise in your mind. No chetan joba tala dunga tesamda mongayo ma chetam yobe tongla nasa tesamda mongayo knows, and then same things. The more the wealth, the more the suffering of those who possess it. For example, as Nangas have many snakes on the head or like head, and they also have much sufferings. The friend letter says, Ngepa domo chetar dunga ba doba chona tetar malate lancho nanan go chinyepa tele chongo dunga tenyetos. As among us our possessions are surely the sufferings. However, those with few desire are not like that. As many as the head of Supreme King of the Nangas, the more important kings has more than snakes on the head, and therefore there are more pains actually. That was talking. So many sufferings arising from the having possessions. So great desire for extant thing produce much sufferings. That was Nagarjuna's teaching. And then Longchen Ranjam says, Teta Shiro Yojilan Doba Cheva Dungat Maze, no sentient la Chapa Oni but Semedes. And above what they're talking about, desire to the object, right? So she says, internally, desire sentient beings. There was little missing, I think. He says, great desire for external things produced much sufferings. Actually, this was not for this Nagarjuna's teaching, so therefore this is like more body font. So internally, the desire of sentient beings involve immeasurable faults. He says, and then by contentions, possessions, I think. Sorry? What is patience? Or desire? Oh, sorry, right. The contentions, desires, and offenses against pure conducts. If you are desiring too much the sentient beings, that can be also against pure conduct. If the nuns design to the men's and men design to the nuns or women's, then it will be against of the conduct. And therefore, also we can go to the lower realm arising. And also, all consent are degraded and so forth. What is degraded? Downfall, or people saying bad things about, that is the Tibetan word says, kunji, mepar. So all consent are, what it means consent? Yes, and saying bad things. Is degraded? Is there bad things? Etc. so forth. Then chase songban zambali hyongwe tenye pongwaru upanas. Then they're talking about, here says, since this fault arising from the grasping desire and craving as pure, when we have this kind of desire or to the desire to the sentient beings that you see as pure, so that's why it comes, and then which is something that is not correct. It is right to abandon that. And then Precious Garland says, permit chapar pechir permit zutong family hyongs. And mostly the object of desire for woman is a pure woman's form arising from the mind. What does that mean? Okay, we think the women are very pure, and therefore we get this kind of ideas, right? Ah, so again here, the body of woman is reality. This is just examples. Instead of we can say woman, then we can say body of the human beings. That is good, right? Right. But it also shows the man has stronger desire. So in order to cut that, then we have to tell the nature of the woman. So woman has impure, like we say, how you talk about impurity of the woman, and that much, you can understand that man has impurity of the mind because they are stronger desires, So it's not like really other way down or other way up or something like that, not like that. What is called this? Scarily things that are pure as that. What is scarily? Sorry? Yeah, English speakers.
If you read the whole sentence, it makes sense.
Okay. Then we go to next one, right?
No, the one before.
Oh, okay. The body of woman is reality are scarcely. Scarcely. What mean that?
That means they're almost never as pure as the form that is projected on them.
Okay. Things that are as pure as that. Okay. Yes, there's nothing pure in the body of the human beings. Oh. Then he are talking of the coming here. The next sentence is talking about, each of the parts of the bodies. So, as for the mouth, it is full of what? Rancid spit. Okay. Maybe some mouths they don't have this rancid spit. But here says okay. Or maybe someone thinks that is also pure. That is the problem, right? And then they talk about the teeth are shelves for storing filthy garbage. Okay. Maybe he talk about ancient times. Maybe these days we don't have. And that is we need to really above to the science or science men. They make wonderful things. So without science, then we are still like this. Garbage, filthy garbage. And then they're talking about nose. Nose is a pot of dancing and handed mucus. Sorry? Okay. Hard, not handed, but handed mucus. Okay. No, not. Oh. And then eye a container filled of dusty teeth. It's true or is it true? Maybe they don't know. And then they're talking about now bellies came down a little bit, okay? So now we came from up to down. The belly are excrement and urines Very don't have urine, I think. Okay. Excrement and urines. Looks like they're talking too. And then also it is a bucket full of lungs and livers. And stupid people who have not seen. So I've told you that they directly telling the women are impure, but indirectly how men are stupid. So therefore, it's same thing. If you talk about these examples, also men you can take, but then you can see how women are stupid. So stupid people who have not seen. And they are ones who wanted their bodies most. Okay. And then, like person not know what it is craving a vast of field as ornaments. Okay, now I have to check in Tibet. Lula cha mo permit man do. Te lula chapar he mehi konki matong be pumba jena chaparta. Pumba jena chaparta jide mehi mo ye permit namna tejanos. Okay, I think like person not knowing what it is craving a vast of fields as an ornament, such as the stupid, ignorant ones of this world when it comes to their attitude to women. So maybe the example, I think, when they make vase, if you put too much nice ornaments, and then we think the vase is very wonderful, even though the vase is just clever or something. Similarity, then when the women have nice ornaments, dress ups and so on and so forth, then the stupid men, they just desire them to look different way to the women's or their rest, their desires. And and then he says, whether the body are good or they are bad, and whether they are old and they are young, since the body of women are impure, why should a special desire rise in you? That is Jeja Chiva Kona here. Kade Masong Konzon de Hyund Song la Yule de la Chaba Murita Permezulayon, Tejanos. Something impure may be of a good color, and maybe something missing here, I think, and thought it is a good shape, quite sincerely, it is not worthy object of desire, so it is also with a form of the woman. So, Madonna, okay, maybe I think there's something missing. Are they missing? Same? Okay. Kate masong kong kado zongs. Hyenda song la ible chongs de la chabar muita pumezu layon tejan nos. Kongro hiro popi yok. Even the something impure may be of the good color. Oh, okay. I think they're talking about the something means here says the heat, okay? We can say the good color, as well as also like you keep very secretly and make well kind of shapes. But we cannot really, this is not the object of the, surely it's not object of the desire. So it is also same to the woman's. Then they're talking about now here. Kondol hiro papi yo ranyan de ronjan hindamaze nongyan de chedabanan tongmajis. Even the skin of such a thing is filthy. It is like a cloak and nothing more. The skin consisting of the unclean scandals is also clean in such a way as that. Did you get what they're saying? I think here is one missing, this part really missing here. And you said the new one is no things. Okay.
There is one.
All missing?
Yeah.
Can you read that?
As for the nature of a rotting corpse, whose inner rot is covered by outer skin, while it is really horrifying in terms of appearance, it is not seen like that.
Okay. Okay, then the next, these are the same kind of things. Next, this is a jar that is full of filthy excrement, though brought outside is inwardly defiled. This body of unclean nature, full of filth, how could it not also be done for? Okay, masong kongwe pambana shiro trayong mebaying. Masong by rongyolu, masong kongwa chimames. So the was which fills by the excrement, and of course, no matter how wonderful outside, but that is no one really says this was wonderful. Similarity, this body, unclean nature, full of the filth, how could it not also be defiled? Then also more. Magatani, so barchens, Nesanyatan Bajanda, Lumatsoma, Madonna, Chola Chepetipens. As many ones are spitting even after cleansing, and the occurrence of this is observed to the perception. If you cannot tell that the body is unclear, what good will come of explaining it to you verbally? I think this also translated there was as many, he says. So Tibet word is gu. It's sometimes they call as many, but sometimes only 9. So person has 9 holes. We do have 9 holes. 9 holes. So here it says, from the 9 holes, you see all impurities, right? You know, from the 9 holes of the body, it comes the impurity that you can directly see. But still, if you do not recognize it, this body is impurity, then he says, what good will come of explanation it to you verbally? So it's no point. Yes, konda mazon lundala genchu nyenga shebana ema zulum emalun ema shebe terderons. Those who abhor this body that is so pure, make point that is elegant, beautiful, and that's ema. What ludicrous nonsense, Emma, what foolishness, Emma, how worthy it is of some shame by everyone. So when we work poems, poetry ones, they're making poems, then we're writing very, very nice of the women's, men's, and etc. The hairs are flower, the eyes are moon, and you can say many nice things. So those are the just nonsense topic, he says here. this Nagarjuna sword, okay? So, anyway, we need to check, we can, that's, here says that if we are desire to the, in the sentient beings, and that also not something correct. And then next one, the fault of the worldly people and companions, or the fault of worldly people and companions. He don't open niba semete diban peki magengongo gewandaji so no nyemoji hiba mozo namyon gawaka. The limitless evil comes from gladly suffering fools. So limitless evil comes from gladly suffering fools. I think fools means what? Stupid, or like, I think ordinary beings, here talking about ordinary beings, ordinary beings, or worldly peoples. What kind of the fools or sufferings? Fool is what? Stupid, right? Gladly suffering fools. I don't know. What mean exactly, actually?
All the bad comes from the worldly people who are gladly taking their suffering, who are just suffering.
Why they put suffer fool?
Suffering fool, gladly suffering, gladly happy.
Oh, okay, good. Let me let's. Gladly means what?
Happily.
Happily.
Happily suffering.
Happily suffering.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
They don't know about something else.
And the increase of evil deed is the source of the unhappiness. And here says, ngo means like it comes from them, like when, as I talk about that ordinary tree, if you put in the sandalwood's place, then the smells it came to the ordinary tree. Similarity, the bad or worldly friends, if we are too much involved, you get all kind of their behaviors, like drinking, alcohol, and nonsense topic and etc. Give on teachings. So if you done something virtue earlier, it will be decreased. And then also giving rise or rest to strife and kilashas. Strife and kilashas. Our action go unacknowledged and joy is difficult. Okay, our action go unacknowledged and joy is difficult. What is that? Unacknowledged is what?
Not noticed.
Here, Tibeto, the Hipa Muslims, if someone did good to you, and normally it's supposed to do good to back also, but they don't do. Instead of they do some bad things, and that we call Hipa Muzo. And then those person, how much you do good things, and they never become satisfied. So joy is difficult, they say, but never become satisfied. And then if you go with worldly people, then you're with many projects or like many duties, many projects and duties, and then pure occupation distract your mind. So therefore, being with worldly people is like us, we wood from fire and snake and vicious beasts. Let us give our white breath to all the attention of the fools. So let us give our white beat. What is white breath? What mean that? Distance, right? To all the attention of the fools. Let us send on some and Jesus says, as for these sentient beings, because of what all their different thoughts are like, we cannot be joyful or be satisfied. And the Bodhicaya Avatar says, "Your Senja Mupa Nazola Javich on the Mangana, if even the victorious ones cannot satisfy or rejoice, and I don't know why this is satisfied, why was this rejoice? In all the various inclinations of sentient beings, why need to mention inferior person like myself?" So Jesse Shivala is this great Bodhisattva. He says, how I can be, person who can satisfy all sentient beings. Even Buddha himself, he also cannot do these things because various of the ideas of the sentient beings. So therefore, he says, better not be with them, better not be with them. Then Tenson him sentient, not a deep son you radam lasso be master good debat nyamumban pevas. And in particular, in the sentient beings of the present dark age, who were not tamed by the 7th generation of previous Buddhas of the so forth. So those Buddhas, they cannot tame. And real savagery, what is savagery? Evil deed, Givatno Shivapon was, Dibaton Yemon Peva. And Kelasha are increased. So now they're kind of talking of definition of the degeneration peoples. What mean real savagery? Sorry? For? Barbarians. Okay, maybe that was they're talking about Mugu. Okay, real savagery and then evil deeds. Kalasha increased by day and day. And then virtue and peace are being abandoned. So now you're talking about they return benefit with harms. So, someone tried to helping, tried to guiding, tried to do their best, but in return is the harm. No problem. Then mebayon lungo is the goni yelan sevas. They disparaging holy dharma. Oh no. They didn't. Okay. They pointless affect other in body, speech, and mind. What does that mean? They pointlessly afflict others in the body, speech, and mind, or by body, speech, and mind, I think. What is actually this afflicting and pointlessly? Is harm pointlessly? Oh, that's no good reason. Pointlessly afflict others or others by body, speech, and mind. Not in, I think. In Tibet, what you hear from the Goni, Yela. Is in is correct English? In means what?
I think it's correct. Doing in body means that you are using your body to do it.
Oh, okay. Then in body. Not by body.
My body is more understandable.
Okay. But in body is also good enough. Then we keep that. Okay. And the disparaging holy dharmas, okay, they disparage holy dharma and individual associate with it. So they complain to the dharmas, complain to the, I think, who are practicing of the dharmas and etc. And they have many asham and many projects. Shams means what? Schemes or shams? Schemes.
Like plans.
Okay, schemes and many projects. Right, this the generation times have the many schemes and many projects and so on and so forth. And we like new project, before one is end. That is even more problem. We like starting something, but we don't have strength to be accomplishing. That is big problem. So with the many occupation and distractions, now it doesn't move. So therefore, Kailasha naturally arise as if we are living among predatory beasts, blazing fires, or what is this in English? Poisonous snakes. They are hard to deal with. So, actually, like this, no matter how much you done good and they need more, no matter how you are kind, the repair is always other way around. So therefore, being worldly beings are not very easy. The entering into the shape of all the Tathagata says, as we all never be joyful among forces ravenous beasts, likewise in dealing with fools, they will never be happy. They will never be happy. And then Bodhicaya Avatara says, Hipa kalwa nyamkyona ngipa ngandron rojite, kalwa kama nyamba trihyana hipa tembe chishishas. If we act like those who have the fortune of fools, we will certainly have to go to the lower realms, letting ourselves be led by those of unequal fortune. What will come of associate with such fools? For a moment or two they may be our companions, then in just a moment they turn into enemies. It is really nowadays like that. Their couples are very short, their friends are very short distant, and so on and so forth. They become angry even when things are going well. Ordinary people are difficult to please. I think here says also that become angry even when things are going well, or even they should be, even should be good, but still that makes for them is angry. If someone says if you do prostration or mandala offerings and etc., it's supposed to be place for the joy, but that can be also angry. So that was like they're talking here. So the Hibangawakas, Pemba Mina, Trobaji, Dajong Penny, Dobaji. They don't want the maniana, tripping and on Dobajers. Okay, missing? What was missing? To speak of the benefits. If we speak of the benefit, they get angry at that. Then they go to the terrors and benefit as well. And when we do not go along with what they have to say, because of they get angry, they wish we were in the lower realms. I think those are quite clear, looks like. Yes, and Tola Tadon Nyamlan dance. If occasionally with them impossible to person generate empty chatter, such bad things will not arise in the same text. Oh, okay. Tola Tadon Nyamlan dance. The envy suppress and try to compare the equal, and they are proud and inferious and arrogant when pressed. If something said the dislike and then they give way to anger, what benefit could ever come from fool-like person? Okay. 대동 로나 차동도 잘못함라서 먹게반 종웨이. If one associate with them, it is possible that poisons what is this? Aggression, right? Aggression, empty chatter, and such bad things will arising. So this is body font. Body font. And then same text. Hipa dona hipa la dodo yen la moba don kola ga tam la so mageji jong ni par jong. We are fools if we associate with fools. They always praise themselves and denigrate anyone else. We talk about the diligent and samsara and such things. Delighting of the samsara and such things, every kind of badness will certainly arise. So therefore, it's very important to go with the spiritual friends, sanghas that really we need it, particularly when we are beginning. It's very important to have good circumstances, and also very important to help those who are beginner practitioners, not kind of give some bad thoughts to them. That will be really very bad actions. Wrong shola tene sutalang chabadon hembadon te dunga dog kodon wa la so bon chiwa dombu wrong sem chinshin. The dollar semba ten do hibi dog chu nyambar jeshings. Wrong shola ten is okay. The desire and attachment as well as the suffering of those who so dependent on their own particulars, like your sight and your parents and so on and so forth, and it become our burdens. By such tight burdens as these, our minds are bound. By associate ourselves with them, thoughts, then our Dhamma is damaged. Dhamma will going down because the ordinary beings just only concerning of these samsaric things. If you clinging their wishes and to cling it themselves, then it will happen the same things. And Nduna Chigla Chikupa Mejons and says, when we are with them, there is no respect of each other. That is one problem. When we separate and we are unhappy, like really it happened, Such people, when you are together, there's no such really respect each other. But then when you go separate, then we say, oh, I will miss you, I'm sad and suffering and etc. They talk about looks like really you have genuine love, compassion, and etc. So therefore, you are suffering. Therefore, your mind is also distracted. When come together, there is no respect, no joy. And when they go different place, and there is already sufferings. So therefore, the difficulties is, this is how difficult this one. Senjen namla chachini, yongda nyola kani dip, hyovi semyon jibaji, tamanyangen dongwanjir. If to sentient beings we have produced attachment, and that which is genuine in usually obscures. I don't know, genuine means reality meanings will be obscured because you're producing of the wrong ways. So therefore, destroying even thought of the sadness in samsara, general the renunciation or sadness of the samsara is good thought. You know, that way we can abandon of the samsara, that way we rest of our compassion. But if we are being with this kind of such persons, then it will destroy your sadness in samsara. And in the end, as well, surely known the point of the sufferings. Just the end. And tell us, Semper Mbashi could send the Temin Davanja, Tapan, Mepan Zashichi, Yondong Chujonji, but yes. Then the thought that are concerned with only this life will slip away in senseless futility by our occasion with the impermanent friends, even the eternal Dharma will be destroyed. What is eternal? Internal Dharma will be destroyed, right? Okay. Tena shiba sozo shiva namji nobhawan dagi mazola. Dagi jong tawa tambaji teta teni mandapis. Why we cannot be with the worldly beings? Of course, they talk about a lot of faults, right? So therefore, here also says, from the desire of the foolish individual being come our own imperfection. The Dharma of holy liberation is not established because of dependent on those beings. I think that is it says, from the desire of foolish individual being comes our own imperfection. What does it mean that? Yeah, this sentence, what that really meaning? And what does it mean that? Not that one. Not that meaning.
It sounds like it means like our Dharma practice will be destroyed.
Yes, that is one. There's two meanings.
Yeah.
There are two meanings. First one, what is meaning? You know what is talking. First sentence.
By association with impermanent friends?
No, this from the desire of the foolish individual being comes our own imperfection. What does this mean?
That's like when you said when you put a tree, a plant in the sandalwood smells good, but when you put it in the swamp, it smells bad. Association means.
What do you mean that?
It means like by association means like.
No, there's no association. There's no association.
Oh, okay. Desires of the foolish.
Yes.
Then our own being becomes foolish, like that. I think like if we associate with foolish beings, then our beings become foolish too.
Like that? If
That's what I understand.
okay. Yeah.
And putting it into our desires and we become like
I think it's not like that. Maybe the translation wrong then. There's two things. If you be with those kind of general or worldly people, and first one, what they say is, we cannot satisfy them anyway. You know, like we or me or we cannot satisfy or fulfill those those beings. That is first one. And then second one, the destroyed holy liberation is not established yourself. So we cannot satisfy it for them, and if you go with them, and then next problem is that our holy Dhamma also will not establish it. There's two reasons, you know. If you can satisfy it for them, okay, even you cannot do any practice, that is also okay. But now if you be with the worldly person or foolish ones, no matter how much you do, you know, from here up they says, you know, how much you do, it will be always trend different. So we cannot be satisfied. We cannot be perfect for them, you know. So that is the one problem. Other problem is our own Dharma. Here says, that our Dharma, holy Dharma, liberation is not established because dependent on these beings. Dina hiba suzu hiba namjin dobaang dagi mazola. Dagi chong tawa tamba chui tedala teni manjapis. So therefore, instead first staying alone in the forest and mountain solitude and not meeting with human beings, we should meditate on same text says. So that is the reason. So therefore, I think this translation may be something wrong. You know what you understood from this. Teda chong dade magila, da chong tene manjirvis. Hila, then here is the te chong dade magila, or hiba suzi hiba namjin dobaung, dag mazula. By this, our benefit will never be accomplished, and although for us there will never be any benefit, for a long time we will be distracted by these fools. In this sentence is little different than upper the Longchen Pass. You know, this sentence, the quotation says, those beings, they will be not kind of accomplish of our wishes, and we cannot accomplish their wishes. So therefore, we should stay far away. You know, in this Hindi Deva text says like that, but Longchen Pa was a little different. We cannot satisfy for them, and same time, our Dharma or holy Dharma of the liberation will not establish it because of them, and so on and so forth. So therefore, we should go far away, he says. And then, Yeyong, Lama Tambali to be Danga Yon, Semnyid in the Kambar Majina, Kovanili Matarva, Kambar Shava Karchevos. And he says that is now how we should think about it. Then, moreover, even if the oral instruction have been heard from the holy gurus, if they are not kept familiarly in mind, we will not be liberation from samsara. Therefore, it is very important to become familiar with them. Okay, maybe we should stop for a while and then we can go continuously. So, maybe I don't know how much.
Bama
Okay. Then continuously. The instruction of resorting to solitary plans or solitary place. Because you know that if we be with worldly beings, a lot of the problems, there's no such meanings. So that is the reason then here instructed to us that to rely on the solitary place. Joseph Senla temper madoba hiro yelji rad livinas, embinos, truvini bachas. And long as the mind has not attained stability, so long will we be seduced by the release of external object. So let us stay in the joy of secluded forest places. So I think the beginning practitioners, we are already too much distracted. So therefore, it's better to practice on the forest or remote place. But then once our mind is a little more stabilized, or stabilities, whatever, stabilized, then not much matter. Even those who are really kind of well-tamed, then even you are being involved with people, and that can be also even more better because you can do many ways to the great things, such like guidance to others, or then practice of such like your patience, as well as compassionate renunciations, and so on and so forth. But at the beginning, when our mind is not that stable, then it's very hard to put anything in our mind. So therefore, first should go to the forest. And that the same thing, dango rochid to the temba matoji pasa. Then dinzi nubi le tombo dog emba kona temba good days here. Longjananjam says that is the how mind and our oral instruction are mixed into one test until stability is attained. So our intention is that the instruction and our mind, it has to be into one test. So until obtain that, the beginner need to rely only on solitary, free from occupations. That is the best solution. And here talking about three jewels, basket of the three jewel sutras. I think in early time, the text, they don't fold as page, but they may be, used as baskets. They writing and put in the, what is called the baskets. Basket is something like box, right? So there they call the basket of the three jewel sutras. Beginner is ordered to fully specify the mind and completely tame it should stay in solitaries. So then later on, then you can do many good things even you are not in the solitary. But then here, again, they're talking a little bit different way. And the instruction to remain in solitary all one's life. Theo namchi sayo maybe sayo emba tamji rojin jibi jong emba la kurvas. Jesa hiwi ji tepelu tumu dadon chiba majerpa dan hiwi gemba rachote luzen desi dali jalwanjur. So moreover, we urge to stay always in solitary place where no one else is. So our intention that maybe we say, okay, until my mind becomes stable, I will go into the forest
it means that I think you are still not enough to well meditate of the impermanent. But maybe until my life, and may before you die, may you already achieved. Muladikpa says, he just meditate or thinking of the impermanent, but through that he found immortality body. So he meditated on the impermanent of the life, but the end he obtained the immortality body. So the thinking of the rest of my life, it means that we do not know how long actually our life is left. So therefore, instead of the thinking of like until obtained some stability, we need to think more like end of my life. So that can be maybe your life can faster than your stabilize of your mind, or the stability of mind came very quickly, and then rest that you can also helping sentient beings and so on and so forth. So however, here says, until this body is hosted by four pole bears. What is this four pole bears?
It's a funeral.
Right. But what is pole bears?
They carry the body.
Oh, okay. Like Indian, when they die, and then four people carry that body. So therefore, and the train to the smoke upon the crackling funeral, I don't know this English, pyre, and strictly keeping to peaceful place of meditation and quell the preoccupation of body and mind. And so that was in start, like full your life. But then also we can say that, okay, I will stay in my rest of life, but if never came there, I will. This year also I will stay in my rest of life. Next year also saying I will stay in my rest of life. Next year or still rest of my life. Maybe your rest of life is maybe only one day. Then it's not so good. So therefore, here says, think of the impermanent nature of life. Practice samadhi in peaceful place right way. Near the same some days. Here is the thing is the Jabayons. I think they talk about this earth. They said do fast. They didn't find here this fast here in this. So do right way, think of the impermanent nature of life, practice samadhi in peaceful place. The talk on solitary. Chola tepat majepa tesa gemba rasho de hewitin the Japarishas. And okay, chesa hewi yelu. This same kind of meaning. Chola tepat majepa tesa gemba rasho de hewitin the Japarishas. Until by four persons this body is lifted up on a ladder, so long as strict solitary I should practice the pace of samadhi. And so this also taught in the Bodhicitta Avatara is similar. And then next is the praise of the forest and solitaries. Now the virtue of the forest are explained. What kind of forest, they non chitong meto ndrimongxing. Char put on dole konsong tebijanshin trimijanbato shadon roda mombo karjeji chindam meto pombo lulenses. In the forest, clear water, flowers, and fruits plentiful. The excellence housing in mountains, caves, and sheltering. What is sheltering?
Giving you shelter, covering
Dolepto, okay, carvers and salterings, and also solitary grast. What is grast? Grast, graced by the shadow of the overhanging branches. So, like trees, and those have also great shadows. If you are very too hot, and those are also very good. And also, like stay in the outside, like in the solitary few sessions, also wonderful when you are meditation. Many birds and also deers dancing by the river banks. Only they're talking about the many birds and deers dance, okay? And then by the river bank, equipped with colorful flowers and song of bees. Song of bees. Sorry. It's a little bit shame, right? So where there's rivers, there's flowers. Where there's flowers, and there's then bees. Where there's bees, and there's sounds, singings. So those are how we call the river, the forest or remote place. The quality of the remote places. And then the commentary here. Forest solitary are most excellent, adorned by the shades of the trees. The ground is covered with lush green grass, adorned with a myriad. What is myriad of flowers? Many, right? Okay. Such places are full of sounds of cool waterfalls. The forest, the mountains. I think they're talking about waterfalls. The water come down like nicely, gives nice sounds. And what is this? Humming bees. What do you mean this? Okay, what is the name? How to read? Humming bees. Humming bees. I think humming bees. And again in the force of the rock mountains, and sheltering rocks. A many fine natural house. Then clean water adorned by the flowers and leaves is sufficient food. Those are just your food. Your food is like those. And then again here, accompanied by the birds and wild animals. Okay. We have had companions. And living with them in those places of samadhi, our aspirations from the beginningless past will be joyful, fulfilled. So this means that if happening like this, this kind, meditation on like that kind of place, and being like that is not often happening for everyone. If in case something happens, that is the really now accomplishing, or now you are fruition of your past virtues, past aspirations. So Hyunjuli is Bodhiche Avatar says, Rada Shadala, Shingna Manya Jobmayis, Rona Deva Tadonje, trees and birds as well as wild animals who dwell within the forest make no unpleasant talk. there is happiness. When they are our companions, may we always stay together with such friends. Oh, namki hlanji da ninjas. Pu kam hlagong tongbam yanshin tongde nijide. Namki jat madaji chaba mepan jeshi goes. When we are stay in the caves or in the empty temples, a temple means not really such temples, but where you have shrine and where you have like your meditations, that can be temples. Or we make our dwelling by staying under trees. May we never look behind us. It means we never think of your worldly or your previous places. But instead, may we always cultivate personalist detachment, right? Sakyo dag zong me ba rong yen chi ne yon nam so rong hyo ji cha me ba nam ji dag ne ban jers. In the place on the earth that are not grasped as my, that already something big things. So where you go to that kind of place, the place is already belong to no one. So therefore, that place is also, you should not be attachment. It should be like also no one's forever, even though you stay there until become enlightenment or whatever. So that's why actually these holy places are no one's. Holy places are always for everyone's. Everyone visiting, everyone goes there. And then later on, there's some followers, they try to hold, oh, this is my Lama's place, this, and so on and so forth. Okay, anyway, which are by the nature wide and uncontested something, we will act autonomously without desire, and may we always stay in place such as these. And also, tevi hindo nongawe nasa sechon deshejin inwa tanje shijeba danye jibe nibarchas. Tevi hindo nongawe nasa sechon deshejin inwa tanje. Oh, that is another thing. Therefore, in the forest that are most enjoyable, we will be happy, and also our difficulties are very few. All our aggressions, what we call aggression, or how we can read this? Agitation. What is agitation? Like irritation. Agitation will be pacified. Therefore, may we always remain in solitude. I think when we have some kind of temporary renunciations, and then sometimes also make you bring into the forest, but that can be very few days. But now they're talking about always means like we need really kind of stronger renunciation. And then you can go to the forest, that will be many obstacles also go away. So people go to the remote place just because of the kind of temporary renunciation. So Zapata Rinpoche says the temporary renunciation can be what is called is magic of the Maras, Maras. So therefore, they're talking about always remaining in the solitude. That kind of motivation is quite important. And with the forest, when there is peace and tranquility.
Tranquility means like calm.
Tranquility. In places that are empty of contention and the kelashas. So no nyem chitong was. Hiwinaji nonda kaden do senden chisur yongbi dolen konzonyanga. Same kind of meaning. Unfortunate person cooled by the moonlight and sandalwood trees, and those find joyful mansions at the tremendous slabs of the rock, and then fanned by the soundless mountain of the forest wind. The wish to help other beings is naturally ingented yongdole konzon nyamga deme shewa nalo yewe yen la pende sengi chapa shes. And then here another ornament by the washing, okay, letter friendship. David Yungo Jipa Never Jenshishi, Kenchin Chachin Tunjin Tipi, Hyongcherba. Rese not in Tongue, the Chapel Meba, Londa Yubi Ronja, Setu Kalvachi, Nantu Redachi, Soji Tenji, but Kunyam Gazon in the Hipercon. Jede Gavina the Hamuniam Babe, Tell Jim Babe, Doletiana on yours. I think they are a little bit same things, same talking. You know, on the sky, you only see the moons, you know, like pure sky with ornament of the moons. And then also sometimes there's clouders, such like, you know, it makes also kind of ornaments. And then the above, you know, those are you see above the what is called the hips. You know, when you are in the mountains, you know, moons are more very clear, you know, more cool and more clear and even more big. They are talking about that. And then also the winds are very kind of continuation and cool and etc. So therefore, those are the something gives pleasure of the joy to stay. Tiga juga na the lamunya pa tel jimbe pa dole chena yojaram. Okay, that is something like that. So this little poetic. So then how its solitary impermanence arises. Then if someone go to the forest and also can help to raise of the impermanent and etc. Ni tena yakyu tong senden nasar nge tong sawa tong medo trili hyongwis. And in those places, fragrant with juniper trees and various kind of sandalwood, the scents of grass and flower arising. So there are aroma of natural incense and medicinal herbs. Meditation naturally grows in pleasant solitude, sweet with the fragrances of incense and herbs, by enjoy the 4 seasons as they turn in a lot's point, the heat of summer, the fall, the winter and the spring. Our sadness at impermanence grows with the gradually change. So therefore, I think if you only stay in the forest, then you see how the 4 seasons are changing every year, all the time. So through that way also it's a reminder of impermanent, reminder of also how changingness of the samsara, how unstable and etc. So therefore, if you see something unstable all the time changing, then those are not really such the reliable, not reliable. So therefore, there's no such any reliable in the objects, and that way also you will arise of the renunciation and impermanence. They are talking such like that. So in such place filled with the fragrance of incense and medical herb, present something, what is scented like ponds of great lotus, fresh present breathing softly raise. Tawe dong la tuje rumbi, you will pay them charges. Okay. Pe ma chembe komon sotan mendo medoke train ngechi chapas. And by the example of the changing seasons, strong sadness with impermanence arise in our beings. As we customary related to no one, there is neither person and aggression, passion and aggressions. So when you are in the solitary, there is no such kind of these things. And because of you are alone, you see clearly how they are changed. When we see their changiness, it really gives some kind of, not really sad, but you see that more there is no essence. And with actually joy of the staying yourself. Some place when we get sad, we try to run away that place. But this kind of place, you see more renunciation and more essenceless, but you are more strength and also more happy to be there. And because one thing is that no such like desire and aggressions towards anyone. As we are customers, there is no need to focus our attention. Where we live, no other people are viewed, and their face need not to be looked on. Kongi jon tewa meba nam roa nao yen la chabam te hyun deba meba rong yebe dewa na hlai ongba be jon yepakas. And he says, without desire or discouragement arising from others, a happiness is, I think, autonomous. Mainly they're talking about autonomy, that whatever you want, you can do. Even you want to go to naked, even you want to wear clothes, even you want to sleep all day and, doing different things, whatever. That it's really like you have totally free. So here says, this kind of joy and happy and freedom, even in the God realm, you should not find. He says, no, even King of God, he cannot find this kind of freedoms. So we're supposed to be kings are most freedom ones, right? Who makes free, but he cannot have any free of like this. So therefore, how we are fortunate. But unfortunately that we never have any experience. That is the problem. So I think now Longchen Ranjam's life is 42 years. So many of us, we are already too many years above that. So really we have to think a little bit, how long we can live. Kontong Shindong Pudada, Konda Chesun Dorning Shin, Yonzon Song, Dungapon, Tuba Meba Payong Shoes. And here says, empty house, under trees, and in nature caves, abiding in such place where and when we like. We leave behind all tribulations of grasping and guiding without dependence and acting as we will, without desire become of acting and autonomously, without the least relationship with anyone, knowing the contentment of such a happy life, for even in the attempt this is difficult. And the letter to student says, "Nalong chetong de ember hibakong teje lai pomo teyin hibai lembi jend toba jinde me to zebi sene lai song long yojeram sawan de hember loma person so genshin den nasa to me rubu chejen sunba chame ni chilong yong ba ta den de me do long be jem ba nyang ga win da ji ji me de nya dong chim ji lu de do. I think these are the also long poetry ways. Not the chilong. Okay. On the share of the forest streams of the pristine water, a blissful solitude is full of happiness. Maybe it's okay. Is as if the daughter of the gods were there, throwing fragrant censer of ornamentic scent. Is this called scent? Okay. And bring us adornments continue whilst that are braided from woven flowers. In this beauty they are overpowering us the usual manner of the gods. So they're talking about normally the daughter of the gods who have, put different flowers, put different scents. When they come, we say it's beautiful, wonderful. If you come to in your bed or whatever, and you have such great joy and so forth, etc., so forth. But stay in that remote place, those flowers, those like fragrant smells, we cannot compare of even the gods, daughters, flower and etc. I think they're talking like that. So possessing trees and they perfect the root and fruit of leaf of green in the forest, this place of independence where there is no desire for calling mountain streams at the side of wide river, adored the filling fruit and flowers with endless delightful thoughts. We are not rid of the hell whole house. Hell whole house. What means hell whole house? Sorry? No one knows. What is hell whole house? Shanti Deva is hell whole house.
It must be some context with a letter to a friend. Because
Yeah, letter to friend. Yes, letter to friend. What is hell whole house?
Is it like ordinary home with family and...
Oh, chalo that one. Nyanga banyo chimji hluido des nyamge pinda chishimede nyadon chimji hluido dos. He says, why you are, like that your small home, like hell home, like why you are there, why don't you go to there, why you are stay in your home, like hell house. And then in the wide mountain valley at ease without any people were happy, with vast experience of the waving garland of the verdant forest growth, other and pleasant sound of the cascading water falling sound like at the rolling dam. There is no place for the Kilasha. So travel have proclaimed. So however, they are talking about how wonderful of the forest, the natural rivers, natural flowers, natural mountains, natural trees, natural leaves, natural grass, natural purity, freedom, like no need to grasping of the home and etc. So also you can move from time to time, different, remote places. So those are cannot compare of the even gods and cannot compare of their freedoms, they cannot compare of the even king of the gods. And so therefore they are talking why you are still, deluded into your home, like hell, because it's not exactly hell, but that home which we can really collect of the all circumstances to be easy to go to the hell. So therefore, your next step is hell. So that's why hell house, okay? So, uh,
By victory all desires and wealth, and the three worlds altogether, all these are revealed as illusion, mirage, the moon in water and waves.
oh, right. There was also that. Daja nyemo yema king, ndela doba yen, doba namdon, jordan sum jalwa yema major. So we need also doba namdon, jordan, susum jalwa yema major, chidda wala dawa songs. So that's what we have desires, what we think of the wealth and these things, we are very much stuck, for going to the forest. So therefore, the three realms of the wealth and object of the desires are such like marriage, moon in water, water bath, and etc. That was the Buddha taught to us. So we should remember, and that way. So now I think it's maybe we could go a little bit more. If we are staying like that kind of place, then our mind become workable. In such place, how the mind becomes workable is some of those peaceful places. Toto rupan tolbi santoni dagalu jondenji ngonzaje soso jishu chendon thonwarenje deji nimbo mebin korala gavelo de konya ring she so don nyemo meji tajebe wrong sen le non devatos, seeing how bones are strung aboard in the charnel ground. So if we see the bones in the charnel grounds, chanograms, so like dead bodies, bones, and etc. And then think how our body will soon be. What is this? Scattered in that way. What is scattered? Sorry?
Spread out.
The three people say three things. How I can listen?
Same thing, different words.
What?
We talk about same thing, different words.
I don't need different words. I need to write words. So I'm not learning English from you. I just want to know what is meaning.
Spread out or
Okay. Anyway, as we see the fourth compound is of samsara. So whatever confounded, it will be separate. That is the definition of the confounded. So therefore, as we see the false confounded of the samsara, so whatever confounded of the object, it will be is what is called go to separate. So therefore, any joy we feel in the vanish into the distance. What is that? Therefore, I think those Duji Nimbo Kola Gavilo de Konyon Rindiches. Duji Nimbo Mepa, okay? They're talking about there's no essence, no essence of the all composed or compounded. And then any joy we feel in the vanish into the distance. Because when you really see that beginning, maybe we think the enjoyments give some kind of joy. Your life gives some kind of joy. But if we think of the fault of the confoundant of samsara, then joy is also going far away. There's no such really object of the joy. And also he says, always at the peace, because that is very strange. Always always at peace because there are no strife and clashes. Oh, God Lord, going, rain the chase. That don't only dog religion tending on the Jesusa Chiji and Tomadi. Do you nimble maybe cover Gavilon and rain the chase? Okay, when you have had this kind of feeling that the thought of the comfort it makes like joy and the feel vanish or more distant, then that is some kind of sign that you are more into the dharmas, into the forest and into the really meditation point. So then, the end, if we do meditation, or if we look that way, like confounded is thought and etc., then will be also your this always peace because of that they are not strife and kelashas and wrong and liron devatas. And there is missing one word. No, our mind attend will being that is workable. Kovala hiendong, soba no nyemo niwa, hiwala soba yenden taito. If you go to in the forest with the more like renunciation, and then you will see the more faults of the samsara and so on and so forth. So therefore, you have a renunciation, and that makes also pacified all kinds of negative emotions. And they're talking about, I think, sofa. Sofa is sometimes debating or something, I don't know now he's talking. Here are limitless good qualities such as sadness about samsara, and again here's Tomili. What is Tomila? Tomila and Kailasha being completely pacified. What is Tomila? But then what is stuff? Stuff, this stuff. Sorry? What is that stuff? What is that? Oh, okay. The other one is also the same. Turmoil.
Turmoil can be fighting, but
Tibetan is same word. They both are same words. So maybe you can choose one of those. Rudo nasa ni maybe yanten jong ni. Emba ni la tenye bin dongi chabayong. Yes, it's by devotion to place of mountains and forest, the source of good qualities will be increased by our resorting the solitary place, attachment to the 5 desire we abandoned. So therefore, by being without preoccupation, possessions of good dharma will not diminish. And because no mutual visit and inquiries and speaking of word and performing in such as case. So these are the really quite important words, for practice. So insulation, the peaceful, empty, solitary, is very highly praised by the Buddhas. Therefore, let us pray, aspiring bodhicitta always put their trust in solitary. Do not produce attachment in the cities. All these are the quite clear. Jesus, and these are actually the subject was if you go to the forest, your mind will be walkable because you have renunciation, you have no this turmoil and kelashas, or kelasha and turmoils will be pacified, and you see more essence of the compoundant. So therefore, your mind will be workable, which is we need, right? Okay, now we can go to this one. Nasa tempi pains, the virtue of rely on the solitary, sometimes benefit of the translate as benefit, and here he again put, this virtue. So I don't know why he changed all these terminologies are different using. So the benefit of rely on the solitary. Yente person sobotus. As for this growth of excellent qualities, here they're talking about qualities. Attending on Java Namjinga, Sula Hube Gamba Rashote, Kamba, Dunsan Pobe Sonam, Kongi Kalwa, Kongi Sonjila, Kavanchebe Sonam Pumba, Hami Sonam, Jaton Chamabu, Tesher, Shivananda Temple Shas, victory ones have pressed such first growth as this, the merit of making just 7 steps into their directions, even 7 steps in the directions, and it makes great the merit. As such that the heap of merit that we would accumulate by our having made offering for on entire kalpas, but to Buddha as many as all the grand of the saint or son of the Buddhas, the what is this? Ganges or Ganges rivers, saint of the Ganges rivers, I think, saint in the Ganges, would never, oh sorry, the Buddhas as many all the Gans of the saint of the Ganges would never equal 100,000 part of them. Therefore, let us keep to this first place of the peace. So you're talking about, but it's also there's some kind of quality, they says that Sulla Huber, victory ones, merit making just 7 steps in direction, such as that heap of merit of the wood or commonly be heavy merit of never equal 100. Therefore, I think they're talking in Tibet or the Sulla Hubi, and why you are 7 steps into the direction because of the have strong kind of renunciation. There's missing that. I think I couldn't find in Sulla Hubis. By your renunciation, by the really felt up of the world, and then you walk 7 step direction to the remote place, and that has great merit. Such someone offering 1 kalbas to the Kongi kalba of the saint of the Ganj offered to the Buddhas, and then those who went to the first with renunciation, they cannot compare that. That was something like that. Okay, maybe here we can go more the commentaries. Though someone were to make offering to the Buddha with material things for kalpa, if with an antidote of sadness, here they're talking about antidote of the attitude, an attitude of sadness, we take even 7 steps to go forth with a solitary of first, charnogram and so forth. That has much great merit. So I think in during the ancient times, many of Indian masters, they stay in the charnagrams because they can find eat, they can find clothes, and then they just around stay there and meditation. Also, they can see every day every person coming dying, and those are the really great support. Great support. So every day, if you go to the Varanasi, the fire of the burning, the body is 300 years never off. All the time burning, all the time. They're waiting for the bodies, one after another. They're waiting. Many bodies are waiting around there. So if we go there and look around, may you find really good renunciation. May your mind tame. Even though you are not in the temple, even though you are not rough in lama cloth, but if you be there and using this kind of methods, can be very powerful. Okay, then this here the sutta says, if some person offers flowers, incense, food, and all the articles related to happiness to all the Buddhas for kalpas, and then another complete sadness or saddened, what is saddened?
One who has become sad.
Saddened takes only 7 steps in the direction of solitude. The heap of merit of this latter is the immeasurable great, complete abandon any concern with body of and life, to meditate in the highest peace of emptiness, the mind possessing exertion and supreme exertion, like a wild beast should stay in solitude. Okay, I think maybe we should stop here today. So it wants meditation parts are quite important though, but we went quite long pages today, so I hope. So we have now 3 days left, right? So only 3 days. It went quite fast this year. Maybe blessing from your aspirations. If there are any questions, or then if you want answers. Okay, I think maybe we need also a little bit preparations for the exams, so maybe we can stop here. Sunandaya namje rebanya dona nyembe dana bam ye ga nanje balandu sebe zolen dova yo ma ye bana ye ma Bevario Gozanamba Don Ganya Yonla de Maya Yanza Bandon Mogun Lame Yola Zalan Jubario Yiba Non Zanjan Damje Deyen Yuba Yandon Zanda July Ronjan Daniel Lanje Wanda Jajan Dara Ganda Dajan Lord Bema Rada Jayan Sonje Demba Dajan Jebajo Yanyan Lama Yoga Demba Jadan Galanya Jagayola Dajejo Denjo Jeng Nando Donje Nanda Novan Yonja Zembe Gonda Zayuma Denaga Melanda Bayon Nanda Ye Royum Guzan Zele Loja Yabada Dana Yadon Anjurga Dabada Yambela Dajava Beman Jelmelondo Degun Yabada Dajale So you have to have these 3 books and also plus our meditation books. So there are 4 books with you. And then we could little prepare how we are sitting, and I hope you will bring your these things. And maybe if when we finish dinner, at 7:30 it has to be finished, right? So maybe I think if we can start like 7:30, then we will finish maybe 9:30, or maybe you have a little more time to think. Anyway, we have to stop before 10. So what we decide now? Should we decide 7:30? Okay, then 7:30.
So those who have the kitchen duty should really start earlier.
But actually the cook said, I asked him, he said that when we start the exam we can leave, so he said he can manage alone.
Okay, thanks.